Yeah.
The meeting is now called to order. Roll call, Mr. Brown.
All board members are present except our president, John Shapiro.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I will read our Carmel Clay Schools mission statement, and that is that Carmel Clay Schools will provide opportunities for all students to realize their potential in an ever-changing world. First, this evening, we have our presentations, and tonight we are recognizing the Clay Center Elementary Spell Bowl state champions, Mrs. Flager.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the school board and the administration for recognizing our team this evening. We are so proud of all of their hard work and so excited that we get to call them state champions. So I would love to invite up our two coaches, Miss Riley Peters and Miss Miranda Mejia, who have some words to say about the team.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be here tonight. I know I can say for both of us, we're so proud to be here with our students, this state champion Spell Bowl team, and this accomplishment goes so far beyond just winning the competition, but it really reflects the months of hard work, dedication, perseverance, and curiosity that it took for them to secure such an amazing achievement. So great job, you guys. We're very proud of you.
And I'd just like to add that these students supported one another. They showed true teamwork. They represented our school with focus and integrity. They didn't just learn how to spell many difficult words, 750 to be exact. They learned how to prepare, persevere, like Ms. Peters said, and truly believe in themselves. And this championship is something that they should be really proud of, and it's truly has been an honor to coach them. And we'll call you guys up one by one to receive your certificates. Mason Fung. Teddy Gadens. Leela Gouda. Ryland Hansen. Clara Harley. Eve Herman. Olivia Poe. Alex Pike. Peter McGuire. Ethan Mao. Awesome Koya. Eris Yee. And our last member who's not here tonight, Jackie Coe.
And we will take a brief break since it is a school night if you want to go home for the evening and get ready for tomorrow, or you're welcome to stay and watch the rest of the school board meeting. It's up to you. Thank you.
Oh.
Good job, Betty.
Wow. That's cute.
Next, we will move on to public comment, and we do have one person signed up for public comment this evening. I will read our board bylaws. Just to remind everyone, individuals who have residency within the boundaries of the school corporation or have children enrolled in the school corporation are given first priority. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface their comments with an announcement of their name and group affiliation if applicable. The duration of each participant's comments shall not exceed 3 minutes in length. Speakers may not yield their time to another speaker. Boisterous or uncivil conduct will not be permitted, nor will any defamatory remarks be tolerated. Comments shall be directed to the board. No person may address or question individual board members. As a general matter, the school board will not act or respond to questions or comments made during public comment, but will take them under advisement. And again, this evening, we have one person signed up. So I'm going to call your name, and you can go ahead and go up to the podium. She's just needed to move some phones out of the way. And then you will see that a green light will come on and that it will begin your 3 minutes. So this evening, we have Rachel Hartzell signed up for public comment.
Hi, my name is Rachel Hartzell, and I'm a parent of a student at Carmel Clay Elementary. Hello, esteemed members of the board and Carmel Clay staff. Thank you for all that you do for our students, sincerely. I'm coming to you today regarding Chromebooks. While there are several concerns that I and other parents share, I'm asking specifically today for more open and collaborative dialogue with parents, along with greater transparency in PowerSchool regarding the opt-out options available for students. I'd like to share my own family's experience, as I see this as an opportunity to work together towards one of our common goals, parent and community involvement enhancing student learning. I have 3 young boys, my oldest in first grade at CCE. Last year at the start of kindergarten, I was surprised when my son brought home a Chromebook. We had received no prior preparation or communication that he would be assigned a dedicated laptop, despite many opportunities from the school to do so prior to the start of the school year. To have such a huge responsibility unceremoniously dropped on a parent and very young student without proper communication does not set up a successful parent-school partnership. Beyond the digital concerns, which I cannot address today, there are physical ones. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends backpacks weigh no more than 10 to 15% of a student's body weight. On a good day, my son's backpack weighed 20 to 25% of his weight. This led to actual back pain this year. We walked to school every day, just for context. I obtained a doctor's note stating the Chromebook needed to stay at school. It was a happy week until I received a phone call stating my doctor's note was denied. This was shocking, not just for my son, but for the larger implications for any Carmel family seeking medical accommodations. And when staff is crying on the phone to me because I am unable to advocate for my own child, the system is broken. I had to have 5 different conversations before I was finally told I could simply decline the technology consent form in PowerSchool. I had not known that before. Even then, the district had to send a special Adobe signed document because there was no way to withdraw directly in PowerSchool. This is simply not an efficient use of anyone's time or the district's resources. During these conversations, I asked for supported research showing that screens have a positive impact on learning at this age. No one could answer. Eventually, I was told the one-to-one requirement was in case of a snow day. Yet during this winter's snow days, a month after we relinquished the Chromebook, my son logged into Canvas from home and completed his work. No Chromebook needed. In the 4 months since we gave up the device, my son is happier, more engaged at home, and healthier in mind, body, and curiosity. I am using registration season as a springboard to ask for 3 things. 1, educate the parents on exactly how the devices will be used, citing supported research for why and how devices are good for all the students. 2, make it clear in Power School that that parents have the option for refusing the Chromebook without the struggle that I went through. Lastly, we need forums as a community to redefine the policy for the betterment of our students. Students should learn through the real world around them before the digital one. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Next on our agenda is consent, and tonight the consent agenda items include personnel report, claims, payroll, approval of gift applications, change orders for the Cherry Tree Elementary renovations, change orders for the Carmel High School Polytech addition, change orders for the Carmel High School natatorium addition and existing natatorium renovations, as well as the February 11th, 2026 workshop session minutes and the February 25th regular session minutes. And as a reminder, this consent part of our agenda is our designated section where we group together routine items so that we can efficiently consider them and approve them in a single motion rather than having to line item each of these. On this one, I am going to have Mr. McMichael just give us a little bit of background because there's some special gifts, and then as well as there's a change order regarding the natatoriums.
Yes, as noted, typically we don't discuss consent items that are otherwise action items, but we do have some special items I'd like to call attention to for the board and the public. First, we have a gift that is really exceptional in that it's from Brock Aldrich. It is auto parts donated to our Polytech and our recently completed automotive section, and it has been appraised. I mean, this is $370,000 worth of auto parts from a retail standpoint. So that's now the parts aren't worth nearly that to the school district, but certainly they have very much value. We had 2 teachers that on their own time spent hours getting the parts and so forth. Unfortunately, Mr. Aldrich's father passed away several years ago, and he owned an auto parts store. And so essentially, the district was being given the entire inventory in the store. And there's a lot of it that we won't have specific use for, but for example, they will use many of the parts as, I don't want to say decorate, but just so you'll get the picture, in the new space, because if this were a repair shop at a dealership, they would have parts, right? So now we'll have parts that we wouldn't have gone out and spent money to do that, but it certainly will add to the very excellent facility that we have. And they will use some of the parts. They've used some of them already, so we very much appreciate it, and I just wanted to call that to your attention, because that's really an unusual gift that we've received here. And so then, secondly, we have 3 change orders. One of them is for Cherry Tree Elementary at about $49,000. That's kind of typical as an add change order, and another one for Polytech for about $49,000. But the one I wanted to emphasize is we have a deduct change order, which we like those a lot better, and for the natatorium, and it's $252,000. And so I thought it was worth bringing that to your attention in the public. Most of that is for what we call unused contingency. That project's essentially finished. This contractor was finished. So in closing out their contract, we include in the contract, we include a percentage of the bid, basically, so that we don't have to come back with change orders for every smaller thing. And so in this case, given the size of that project, it was millions of dollars worth of contract, but still $250,000 that we found we didn't have to spend. And so we always welcome those kinds of things. And so those are what I particularly wanted to share with the board.
Thank you very much. Definitely good extra information. We appreciate it. Do I have a motion to approve all of the items on today's consent agenda?
I move to approve all of the items on today's consent agenda, and thank you for not making me say every single one.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on these?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Aldridge, in particular, all of our donors, of course, but that's really a great way to use something like that, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, just a comment too, is I noticed there's a 1976 Ford Mustang too donated, and I'm sure there are some parts in that stock that will fit that car, and I'm sure it needs some parts.
That is a good example because, as you know, the cars that are worked on, typically they don't need, the car can be wrecked, but they're working on the mechanical aspects of it. And so, as pointed out, having parts for an older car can be difficult to come by. So whether that's included in this inventory, I don't know, but it very well could be.
Great, thank you, everybody. We'll now take a vote. All those in favor of approving all items on the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 4-0. Next on our agenda is one of our action items, and this is the middle school language arts adoption. I'll turn it over to Dr. Dudley.
Thank you. So pursuant to Indiana Code, all schools must provide reading instruction rooted in a core program aligned to the science of reading in kindergarten through 8th grade. Last year, we adopted a program for elementary that was rooted in the science of reading. And this year, we are recommending that we adopt Amplify ELA for our 6th through 8th grade students. And so this program is a comprehensive literacy program that provides instruction and corresponding materials for reading, writing, vocabulary, grammar, and speaking and listening. And every unit is surrounded by a quality literature and informational text that the students study with that. And it really, most of them are excerpts or chapters within the book. They also do have in each grade level one full-length text, but the committee felt very strongly that the volume of reading is fabulous in there, but they needed more full-length text. So we are also recommending that we adopt 3 additional full-length text as well. And so this is something that our committee is excited for, and we are actually doing some piloting this spring with this program as well in our middle schools.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the middle school language arts adoption?
I move to approve the middle school language arts adoption.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on this? No? Okay. Did you have?
No.
No, okay.
sorry.
We'll take a vote then. And this, again, this was something that we have seen, we've already seen before and discussed previously
Correct.
in our meeting. All those in favor of approving the middle school language arts curriculum signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Our next action item is a bid award, and this is the bid award for the Carmel High School 2026 improvement projects. Mr. McMichael.
Thank you. This bid is for just over $5,700,000. It includes a number of projects, so I'll give you a brief description. The first is it includes paving at the stadium, basically all the parking lots. As you know, we're doing a major project there, and this will be at the end of the project. Of course, we'll pave all the parking or repave it, as well as some cosmetic updates with the tennis building, the Wisconsin Center, as well, and then also on the visitor side of the stadium. Then it also includes work at the main cafeteria, the venting in the kitchen, and also then the roofing where the vent comes out because the roof actually is more expensive than the vent, but it needs to be replaced before we do the vent. Also, we will be sprinkling the auditorium as we're required to do when we had a previous project approved, and so this was anticipated. And then finally, there's an emergency generator being installed, and together, all of those together is what's included in this bid award.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve this bid award for the Carmel High School 2026 improvement projects?
I move to approve the bid award for the CHS 2026 improvement projects. And thank you, Mr. McMichael, for reminding us of the projects.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just a comment that all the bids, you were able to accept the lowest bidder in all cases. There weren't any other
Yes.
concerns, so it is the low bid.
It is the low bid, and I'd like to mention, too, that we continue to have very good participation for a number of years after COVID. It was very difficult getting the kind of competition that we'd like to see, so we're very pleased that everything that's been bid this year, we've had lots of participation. We had almost double the number of bidders, for example, on Smoky Row project as we did for Cherry Tree. And that oftentimes typically reflects in the pricing as well. So that's all good news.
Thank you for that last bit of information. I know the time that Mr. Brown and I have been on the board, that was definitely something we heard in the past years, but it was difficult to keep prices down when we would only have so many bids on
That's right.
projects. At this time, we'll take a vote then. All those in favor of approving the bid award for the Carmel High School 2026 improvement projects signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Our next action item is another bid award, and this is for the Carmel Middle School midlife cycle renovations. Mr. McMichael.
Thank you. So this bid award is $7,848,000, $848,130. And a mid-cycle renovation includes kind of at least for sure, cosmetic changes. So, for example, all the finishes in the building, or most of them at least, the wall coverings, the paint, floor, the carpet will be replaced. It also includes necessary mechanical and electrical and plumbing improvements, as well as roofing. Not the entire building in this case, but there's significant roofing replacement, as well as some paving and then general trades, which is kind of everything else. And so it basically is something that we do in about, after the building's is either new or been renovated about 17, 18 years ago, and it's kind of a freshen up, but there's more to it than that. It's not just paint and wallpaper, but that's what this project includes.
Thank you, Mr. McMichael. Do I have a motion to approve this bid award for the Carmel Middle School midlife cycle renovations?
I move to approve this bid award for the Carmel Middle School mid-life cycle renovations.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this?
Same comment. This one is the low bidders were all able to be awarded the bid.
Yes.
Right, thank you. We will now take a vote. All those in favor of approving the bid award for the Carmel Middle School midlife cycle renovations signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Moving on to the reports section of our meeting this evening. Our first is the student data report with Dr. Dudley.
Students for the future that none of us can fully predict. But we know that it will require adaptability, problem solving, continuous learning, and the students in our classrooms today will become tomorrow's workforce innovators and leaders. And our responsibility is to ensure that they graduate ready not just for their next step after high school, but for a lifetime of learning, contribution, and success in a changing world. So our mission states that Carmel Clay Schools will provide opportunities for all students to realize their potential in an ever-changing world. That statement is at the center of this work. We're focused on making sure every student leaves Carmel Clay Schools with the skills, confidence, and the flexibility to contribute meaningfully, pursue multiple pathways, and to continue learning. All industries and opportunities evolve as they evolve. So this work is not separate from our strategic plan. It's directly connected to it. Our future-ready learning is supported by academic excellence, by strong systems of support, instructional coherence, and especially real-world learning and relevance. And tonight, our report is on the strongest connection in that area to ensure that all students experience meaningful learning that helps them understand both the purpose of what they're learning and how it applies beyond the classroom. And this vision becomes real through several key initiatives. We're expanding work-based learning and career-connected pathways through partnerships with employers, city government, and community organizations. We're strengthening differentiated instruction and enrichment opportunities, including STEM, robotics, and academic clubs. And we're aligning district pathways with the Indiana graduation requirements so that students have clear options and strong support as they prepare for college, career, or military service. The world that our students are entering is rapidly changing, and it's driven by innovation and technology, increasingly interconnected and filled with careers that do not yet exist. And because of that, our responsibility is not to prepare students for one specific job at one specific moment. Our responsibility is to prepare them for change by developing transferable skills such as critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and adaptability. So when our students who are currently in kindergarten enter the workforce, we expect that they will work alongside artificial intelligence, change careers multiple times, solve problems we cannot yet predict, and need to continue learning throughout their lives. And some of the jobs on this slide may sound unfamiliar, and that's exactly the point. We cannot prepare our students only for jobs we already know. We must prepare them for the capability, flexibility, and learning how to learn, so that whatever jobs are created in the future, they can adapt to those jobs. So what should our future-ready graduates be able to do? They should be able to think critically and creatively, communicate clearly, collaborate effectively, adapt when information changes, solve real-world problems, and take initiative while reflecting on their own learning. And these are the skills that matter across industries, technologies, and job titles. And they're durable skills that will serve students no matter what their future brings. So this work begins with what happens every day in our classrooms, and we build strong foundational literacy, emphasize thinking over memorization, encourage curiosity and creativity, and help students apply their learning in new situations. And this is part of the future-ready learning. Students are practicing teamwork, problem-solving, communication, and revision in ways that prepare them for life beyond school. And so at this point, I'd like to share a brief video so that you can hear directly from some of our students and what this looks like. And you may recognize some of these students from a while back in an earlier video.
I don't know. What?
We first met Aubrey and Mira 7 years ago when they helped demonstrate how education was changing and technology was shaping their learning and their future.
1995?
Now in 7th and 9th grade, that future doesn't feel so distant anymore. So let's check in.
Hi, my name is Mira. My grade is kindergarten, and I am
So cute.
And I am 5 and a half.
She loves exploring outside, playing on her iPad, and watching singer, dancer, YouTube sensation, and big hair bow creator JoJo Siwa.
Oh, me
She
too.
will graduate from
I was
Conklin
a
Schools
JoJo
in
girl.
the year 2032. Aubrey just finished 2nd grade at Prairie Trace Elementary. She loves watching YouTube videos, baking, and all things dogs. She will graduate from Carmel Clay Schools in 2030.
It's crazy how
They
far
have
it's all
never known
come.
a world before
Like,
internet,
there's
smartphones,
so
and
much.
augmented reality.
So we shared some technologies of the past and present with Aubrey and Mira and asked them to tell us about how they might
This
be
is what I remember
used.
most.
What does that do? That looks so
Oh, I remember
weird.
filming this.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
I think they told us it was like a telephone or something. And then I'm pretty sure they did tell us like what they were after we filmed. And then I was like, "Wow, a floppy disk."
I do remember doing the video. I don't remember that much, but the only thing I remember was just being really embarrassed by getting all the cell phone things wrong in the old machines. I just remember being embarrassed by how far off I was.
I don't remember actually like recording it. Like I've watched it like a bunch of times, but honestly, I feel like at this point I wouldn't be able to imagine going to school without technology. I really want to be a lawyer or like do something in law or maybe government. I feel like that would be really fun. I'm on the speech and debate team, so I feel like that definitely helps.
I think technology is helpful because you can figure things out a lot faster. Like whenever I'm curious about grades, I can always go on Power School and check. And I can always check an agenda for a class I haven't gone to yet. I definitely want to do something medical related. I've been thinking about it for a while, but I've always enjoyed science and math classes, and I think that would be the perfect combination of the both of them. I'm taking a class called Biomed this year, and we're digging into medical stuff, and I think it's so interesting. I'm learning so much more. I just can't imagine how many new things there's gonna be, or things that I don't even know exist yet that are gonna be there, and I'll just have to learn along the way, but it's something I like to think about.
7 years ago, Aubrey and Mira were just getting started. It was the following year that a global pandemic reshaped how students learn and connect, and almost overnight highlighted the growing role of technology in education. Since then, the world around them has continued to change, faster than anyone expected. Artificial intelligence is already impacting students, teachers, and future careers, and many of the jobs that today's students will have don't even exist yet. Today, education is about teaching students how to ask insightful questions, analyze information, and find solutions when the answers are not immediately apparent. It's about helping students express their ideas with confidence, listen to different perspectives, and work together to tackle challenges. Students are encouraged to imagine new possibilities, test their ideas, and learn through experimentation. They explore what interests them, build confidence in their thinking, and come to understand that creativity and innovation are part of everyday problem solving. Just as importantly, students learn how to find information, evaluate sources, and use knowledge responsibly in a world where content is constant and not always reliable. K-12 education strikes a balance between building strong academic foundations and giving students space to explore who they are and who they aspire to become. It's where students begin to discover their passions, their people, and how their learning connects to the real world. Through collaboration, hands-on experiences, and meaningful learning, students gain the skills needed to adapt, communicate, and continue learning as the world continues to evolve. K-12 education introduces students to their future while giving them the tools to shape it. The goal isn't to prepare students for one job or one moment, but to prepare them to think critically, work together, and move forward ready for whatever comes next.
I think high school's perfect because you have the time to experiment and try different things and find what you really enjoy to do.
I feel like we always have the pressure to be the perfect versions of ourselves every single moment. But it's okay to not be that.
School isn't about memorizing facts.
It's about learning how to think.
I'm not sure what my future will hold.
Learning is preparing us to adapt. Education isn't having all the answers. It's knowing how to ask the right questions. School isn't just about the tests.
It's also preparing us for real-life experiences.
The future isn't something we wait for.
We are learning how to shape it.
So what you just heard begins early in our elementary schools. In elementary classrooms, we're building those strong foundations through literacy, knowledge building, collaboration, communication, problem solving, conceptual understanding, self-regulation, and creativity. So it may come out as in second grade, working on foundational reading skills, or in fourth grade, where students are engaging in Socratic seminars. In fifth grade, where they're working on math thinking classrooms, where they're working on the conceptual understanding and collaborating with one another to solve those real world problems. In kindergarten, working on their skills for success to understand their self-regulation and how to work in groups with other students. It may be in creativity within our music classes or our art classes. And students are beginning to develop those habits and those mindsets that support that long-term success. And at our secondary level, our students have access to a wide range of rigorous and relevant opportunities. In Carmel Clay Schools, I mean, at our high school, we offer more than 34 advanced placement courses. We offer more than 27 international baccalaureate courses, 49 dual credit courses where our students have the opportunity to really work on getting those credits even before they go into their college careers. We offer 9 different world languages, and we have more than 35 career pathways, and we're continuing to increase the number of career pathways that we have. Currently, we have 310 seniors that are in a capstone pathway, where that is their pinnacle of their career pathway, and these numbers continue to grow. This year we have 1,655 students in a principal's course, which is the beginning of that pathway. And those will continue to grow as we are implementing the new diploma requirements as well, where students have those opportunities, the pathways. But the pathways range from everything from medical pathways to automotive, to human resources, to education. Students have a variety in business and wherever their interests might lie. And we start to really develop and help to see where their interests might be actually in 7th grade. Our 7th graders take a course, it's called Preparing for College and Career. And in this course, they have the opportunity to really delve deeply into what are those different opportunities out there, and then what might those pathways look like at the high school. And so one of the things they do is they start developing their graduation plan. And it sounds like 7th grade seems like a young age to do that. However, they start scheduling for their high school courses in the beginning of 8th grade. We actually start in the fall of 8th grade. So we want to make sure that they have that opportunity to really delve into what are those different opportunities out there. Some of the things that we're working on to continue to improve that is how can we maybe look at some exploratory classes to even broaden that in our middle school, to have some exploratory elective courses that align with our pathways. So that's something that we're just beginning to talk about, to really look at how are we going to enhance that middle school experience, because that middle school experience is an opportunity to explore where you might be. So in our secondary schools, we do have those opportunities. So strong schools do help to build those strong communities, and when we prepare our students with future-ready skills, the employers gain adaptable, skilled talent, the workforce becomes more resilient, and students are more likely to stay or return and come back to Carmel to lead locally within our school district. And so that the innovation, the entrepreneurship is all strengthened. So strong schools make strong communities. We definitely have that connection. And so this is why our community partnerships very much matter. Our community leaders can support this work by providing authentic project ideas, offering career exploration and mentorship, serving as guest speakers, and helping our students to solve real-world problems connected to local needs. And as we connect with the community and the businesses in the community, we have our students that have those opportunities to go out and have those internships, to have those opportunities within our community. And so the future continues to change, but one thing that remains constant is that our students will help to shape what comes next. And so by investing in our future-ready learning today, we're investing in the strength, the resilience, and the prosperity of our community for tomorrow. And so thank you so much for our board for the continued support of, obviously, of our school and for our mission so that every student has the opportunity to realize their potential in an ever-changing world. And together we achieve. So questions you might have.
I love that video, first of all. That was very sweet to come full circle back to the other video. And we've had an opportunity to meet some of the interns in the community lately and meet with some of those internship partners, and it's such a wonderful resource that we have available. And to your point, like the students are the ones who are going to really identify what those next things are. So do you guys currently in either your principal advisory council or superintendent advisory council or in other pathways talk with the students at the high school to find out what did they feel was missing, what classes would they have liked to have taken as you start to explore what is to come next?
Yeah. Yeah, and so Dr. Oestreich and Dr. Ferris in their advisory councils, that's one avenue. But we also have students in all of the different courses as they work and they talk with their teachers, and then we look at what are those new opportunities that we want to provide. And so sometimes those courses come from students saying, we would really like a course similar to this. Every year we have, it's called a curriculum advisory committee where the department chairs come to the meeting in early September and they look at what are those new courses that we want to offer, what pathways do we want to engage in, and those pathways and those courses come from data that they're collecting from teachers, collecting from students, collecting from parents, and those interests. So it comes through a lot of different avenues of what that might look like. And we're continuously adding to those courses based on the student's interest.
And I'll also add that we had our Superintendent Principal Advisory Council last week, and we were talking about internships. And I'm going to give a shout out to Liz. Liz is doing an internship with IU Health right now, so she came to the meeting in her scrubs, and so I asked her how things were going. And she's excited because she's going to major in nursing, and she's had the internship, a paid internship, and what she shared with the group was, I would never have gotten into Purdue nursing without the opportunity to actually, in real life, real world opportunities, be a nurse. While others are applying to be a nurse, I've done the work at IU Health. And so she was grateful. And then Liz told a story about one of her friends who was also in the internship at IU Health, and her friend found out that she did not like nursing because she didn't like the work, and so we just saved her friend's family a lot of money because she's not going into nursing now and she's looking into another opportunity. And so we have those conversations, as Dr. Dudley said, and also a shout out to Vinny, who is also in automotive right now and has an internship and working at Penske and has a job lined up at Penske while he works at or while he's going to Ivy Tech to further enhance the skills that he has in the automotive industry. And so he's a part of the Superintendent Principal Advisory Council. So yeah, I love having those conversations, and hearing directly from the kids is so powerful.
Follow-up question. So when you get those recommendations and you guys through the committee and you decide that you're going to move forward with something, what's the timeline for that? Is it like 1 year to implementation, 3 years?
It really depends on, like, for example, a career pathway. Typically, there's a principal's course, and then there's the A and B foundational courses, and it may end with a capstone. So if we're bringing a new career pathway on, we may start with just the principal's courses, and then the next year we bring on the principal's courses. So it depends on that. In some cases, it's just in like the high school for like student clubs. Students can, if they are interested in a club, they can develop that club as long as they get a faculty sponsor. The courses are not that easy because we have to make sure that there is a course that aligns with those interests, and we have to use the state-approved courses. So we have to make sure that course aligns. But we do look at, okay, if this is the interest what courses might align to that piece. So it could be right away that, if we have enough students that are saying they have an interest in this and we're developing that, it could be in 1 year. We had another course a couple of years ago where we had some students that were interested in it, but we needed to build the interest before we could offer the course, because we can't offer a course with 10 students. We have to look at what are our resources available. So it really depends on the course. It depends on the interest level of the students, and then how quickly sometimes our courses that we offer grow very quickly. Like, for example, criminal justice was a course that we brought on, a new career pathway we brought on a couple years ago, and that grew very quickly, much more quickly than we thought it would, the interest in that. Another one was our certified nursing assistant course, where that has tripled in size since we brought it on. So it really depends on the interest level of our students.
Thank you, Dr. Dudley. I really enjoyed the video as well. I just wanted to note, you had mentioned our interest in having community members who might be able to become a mentor in the work-based learning. And I just wanted to note for the public that there is a partnership form on our website for that, on the high school website under academics. And then if you go to work-based learning, I think it's just amazing. And, sometimes when my youngest is going to college, and in a couple of years, and we get those little Instagram stories from college advisory type things. And one of the things where they were rating what's a good extracurricular and what's not. And one of them was work-based learning, in particular, like the CNA opportunity, which is one of our pathways. And I thought, we have that. I mean, we just have an amazing portfolio of opportunities for our kids. And I do believe that it will set them apart from other college applicants. So I'm really excited, and thank you for all your work in that area.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. I'm a big proponent of internships and engagement with community leaders, and I've watched my son and some others where I used to work with. We'd bring in high school kids even, and it was just so helpful for them. But yeah, a question on the community leaders. What do we do to go out and try to pull them in and communicate, make them aware that we have opportunities for them to come in and participate in developing our learning programs that would benefit them?
Yes. Yeah, so we have, at the high school, we have two positions. We have two work-based learning coordinators that they spend a majority of their time building those partnerships with the community leaders. And so they're going out, they're meeting with them, they work with the different community leadership to get leads on those areas. And so those two people are responsible to build those partnerships. Another piece we have in our pathways is for our students that are in our adaptive program, we also have job coaches that are in the community, where they go out with some of our students and they help them make sure they have the skills to be able to work with the jobs. And so sometimes those job coaches can help build some of the partnerships in different businesses or organizations as well. So we definitely, but we have the two positions that's dedicated to build those partnerships with our community. And they continue to go after, if the students are saying this is something we're interested in, they say, okay, how can we find, what can we find? And then they go out and find those leads in the community.
Do we have any target numbers? I'm just going to make up a number. Let's say we have 50 community leaders involved today, and do we have a plan that we're going to add 20 by the end of the year, or anything like that?
Yeah, and I'm not sure how many community partnerships we currently have. I can certainly get that information.
Yeah,
I don't have it off the
appreciate
top of my
that.
head. But as far as how do we continue to improve that, it's driven by what are the pathways that the students are interested in, and then we go and find those partnerships. And so we may have, for example, many students that are interested in maybe cybersecurity. And so we may need to find several different partnerships to be able to place the students. It's led by the number of students that we have that want to have, that need to have those internships in those areas. And they go out and they do an excellent job. Our two work-based learning coordinators do an excellent job of building those partnerships and then continuing to work with them so that they're willing to take more and more of our students. And we get, the feedback we get from our community partners is that our students, it's amazing that they're high school students, because they really feel like they come in, they're very responsible, they're very mature, they are very helpful. They're not just there, they're benefiting to get the experience, but they're also helping to support whatever that company is or that industry is.
Yeah, I also want to reiterate what Dr. Dudley said. It's also about increasing the capacity of our current partners as well. I know, for example, at IU Health, we started small, but it's been growing and growing and growing to give more kids the opportunity within our current partners, which has been really helpful. The other thing that I hear from our professional partners, and especially from West Drew and Chard Reed at the high school, is that our internships are of the highest quality when you look in the area, because of the connections that our work-based learning coordinators are making with the businesses and our community leaders. They continue to work with them. They gather feedback, feedback going both ways with the employers in the area. And so the quality of what we're doing, we're not just throwing kids in certain jobs and calling it an internship or a work-based learning opportunity. We're really engaged from the school level to the community partnership, which sets Carmel High School apart from many schools in the area.
Yeah, but just one last comment. I think it's really makes it's a very important point you made, that things are changing so rapidly, and it's just going to get faster. So, what our kids may think they might be interested in could be gone tomorrow, and it might make better sense to turn that around, at least to some degree, where we're out there with even small startup companies and try to say what's breaking, and to kind of drive it from more what they might be bringing in rather than what we think is out there today, because it is changing so rapidly.
And that's why it's so important to make sure we're teaching them those transferable skills regardless of what industry might be out there in the future.
Thank you.
That was going to be my comment. 4 of us were at a conference a couple weekends ago, and one of the and we'll report on that in a couple weeks. But one of the sessions I went to talked about the #1 determinant factor in success for students, and it was self-control. And so learning a lot of these things that they're learning from kindergarten on up, the skills for success, learning to be adaptable and flexible, that was the #1 determinant. So that was just my comment, was that, that was a little part of it, and it's not really something that anybody else touched on, but I thought that was really, really interesting, that what we're doing from the time kids enter our classrooms till the time they graduate, and it's what we might consider maybe soft skills, but they really make a difference.
Right.
Well, and I'll just add one last thing, that Dr. Dudley talked about those skills for success that we have here in the district. We had a great team of professionals that worked to develop those, and they based those upon the employability skills with the Indiana Department of Education. So all of that coming together to what we're seeing culminate for our seniors, and those opportunities have been very positive, and we'll continue to grow them. And so kudos to Dr. Dudley, her team, Dr. Ferris, and the team at the high school, but also the work that goes on at our middle schools and our elementary schools. It takes all of us working together and making those transitions seamless as we continue to provide those opportunities for our kids. Mrs. Cashin.
One question, since this is, open to the community to hear, and we know we have so many opportunities and we're expanding them. If you had a wish list of the hardest to find opportunities for our students right now, what would that be, and how can we help?
I'm not sure if I have that information here, but we certainly can get that out to our community. As far as I said, our two work-based learning coordinators do such a fabulous job of going out there and finding what they need and continuing to building those partnerships.
Great, thank you very much, Dr. Dudley. Our next report is our monthly financial update with Mr. McMichael.
Thank you. This evening, I'm going to ask Amanda Kuchar, our Director of Finance, to give the report to you. So she'll come up to the podium in this case.
We actually met with Shard last week, and he was looking for some accounting and finance companies to connect with. He had some really talented students that he was looking to place. So if you know anyone, I know he's looking for that. All right. Thanks, Roger. Let me pull this up. Okay. So one of our strategic goals within the operations and resource management category is budget transparency and stewardship. Throughout the district, we really want to manage our financial resources with transparency and efficiency. One of the ways that we
I'm sorry, is your mic on?
Oh, I can make it closer.
Sorry.
That will be better. Yeah. One of the ways that we ensure transparency is through these monthly financial updates that we share at each board meeting each month, and then we later post them on our website. The reason that we do all of these things is we really want to uphold the strong fiscal responsibility and transparent operations, which ultimately maintains the public's trust in what we do. So with all that background, we will kind of go through February results. And we'll start with the Education Fund, Operating Referendum, and Rainy Day Fund. And I'm going to focus primarily on the Education Fund and the Operating Referendum because we do have another slide where we look at the Rainy Day Fund separately. On the revenue side, revenue is coming in as expected. As you may know, the revenue for the Education Fund primarily comes from tuition support, which is very consistent and comes every month. And then for the operating referendum, that comes from property tax, which is why there is none of that in there so far this year. We'll get our first disbursement for that in May and June of this year. On the expense side, again, things are coming in as expected and projected. About 95% of the expenses in these funds are salaries and benefits, so they are very consistent. Same thing each month. I will note that January was a 3-pay month, so that's why those numbers are a little bit higher. When we look at February ending cash balance as compared to where we were at last year, so currently at the end of February, we were at 10.2 million. Last year this time, we were a little bit higher at 11.7. That again is what we expected to happen. Per the budget, we are expecting to use a little bit of our cash balance this year, and that was what we forecasted. Next, we'll look at the operations fund. So very light on revenue. Again, this is funded by property taxes, so we won't see any revenue until May and June. On the expense side, it is more variable. About 49% is salaries and benefits. So there's more variability in in the timing of when expenses hit here. When we look at the cash balance as of the end of February, we have 1.2 this year as compared to negative 1.3 last year. The primary reason for that difference is we have been transferring money to the Rainy Day Fund at the end of the year each year for the past few years, but we did not do that at the end of 2025. And that was really kind of in preparation for SB1. There's a lot of uncertainty, so we did not do that this past year. Next up, we have our safety referendum. So again, no revenue in this one. Property taxes again. The expenditures on this one are a little bit of a mix, and we have year-to-date negative 10,000 as compared to negative 600,000 last year. Not too much different. We did start with a little bit higher balance this year than we did in previous years. Finally, we have our rainy day fund. So this balance was also represented in the first chart I showed you, but we want to pull it out as well. The only way that revenue gets into this account is when we transfer it. So that's when you would see revenue in this account. And there's actually not usually very much activity at all. We do have an expense in February. So that is related to the one-time expense for changing the teacher evaluation. So in 2025, we decided this is a one-time expense. We're going to put it towards rainy day. We are actually paying it over multiple payments, but it is a one-time expense. So you can expect to see about $54,000 additionally hit the rainy day this year. And I think that's everything. Questions?
Yeah, just a quick one on the rainy day fund. Do you believe we'll be doing any transfers this year, given our challenges, or is it too early to ponder that?
I think we can revisit it maybe mid-year to see where we're at. I think we'll have more information about SB1 and its impact soon, and so then we can revisit it at that point.
Yeah, we start out, fortunately, in this fund in relatively good shape as far as anticipating the negative impact of SEA 1, and which is why, as noted, we did not make a transfer. I think it's too early to tell, really, but we still want to wait and see, get a little more information before we try to make that decision, but we'll certainly keep an eye on it. I think it's certainly less likely than it would have been in the past.
Thank you very much. I have a brief Carmel Clay Parks Department update. I just wanted to let the board and the community know about two projects because of their proximity specifically to Carmel Middle School, or to the center of Carmel, and what the city is calling the Old Meridian Corridor. And this is the Autumn Greenway and Veterans Greenway. And then this is part of, this is not a project that the Parks Department is paying for. This is part of the city's infrastructure bond program. And these will be some additional paths that will connect some of the other paths that the city already has, but these paths will kind of be around, again, that vicinity of Carmel Middle School. And then after that, we have Mr. Brown with the Carmel Redevelopment Commission report.
Yeah, similarly, I don't have a lot to report, but I thought there was just some properties that were came in on an email to, I think, Kristen and Jennifer before I was vice president. That was kind of an official notification that there's some residential allocation areas, or TIF allocation areas, and it was it's way in advance when anything will happen. What was kind of interesting about them is they're residential. They use the word residential, so I was thinking, okay, this could potentially have more impact with enrollment. So I've been keeping my eye on it, and nothing's really developed on them. And even if all the structures that were built, they are, I'll go ahead and mention them. One's called the North End Residential. It's north of Smoky Road, just east of Meridian. There's 31 parcels, so there could be potentially 31 residences. No, so these aren't apartments or multifamily units. These are actually would be potential homes. Similarly, there's one called Flora, and it's just north of 465 and just west of Spring Mill. There are some units already built there, and there's quite a bit. There's 91 parcels. All those are within the Town Meadows and Creekside schools, Town Meadows Elementary and Creekside Middle School. And then there's another one northwest end of town, just south of 146 and just east of town. And that's not been parceled out yet, but it could actually be 15 homes. So But again, that's only in Collegewood, so I wouldn't expect that even if those were homes that would appeal to young families with children, it wouldn't be that much impact to Collegewood or in Creekside. The only one that these other two could potentially, because the one at North End could be 31 units, and like I said before, the Flora could be 91. But I think these are targeted more for empty nester families, and the timing is they're not even approved yet, so these are way out there. These could be 1 to 5 years. I'm trying to get more information, but I thought I should at least mention it at this point that it's a little unusual that the residential one's going through the CRC, and I'll keep my eyes on it. There was another one that came up probably a couple years ago called 111. It's at 111 on Penn. It could be 1,000 units, but again, they're like multifamily, more likely to be, luxury. We like to use the word luxury apartments and units, which typically mean that they don't have a lot of bedrooms for families. They're not appealing to families. So, but that one's not moving anywhere. So that's the significant information about that, is that, as I understand it, the rates are high enough now where the builder is not interested in starting that one. And just a general comment with, there's been some discussion on SEA 1 and how it affects the CRC. And it looks like it could, if it stays on this course, it too would be affected in such a way where it would probably hinder some of the development rates that we've seen in the last few years. So although I would say most of the CRC development has been, in the luxury apartment, luxury condo realm, so those just don't appeal to young families. So that's all I wanted to share tonight.
Thank you. That was great. Yeah, that's perfect to giving us that information on, future developments that may impact having students. Any questions for Greg? Thank you. Our next report is the superintendent's report with Dr. Ostrike.
Well, good evening, Vice President Coquet, members of the board. Also a shout out to President Shapiro as he's watching virtually tonight. Tonight I really am proud to highlight several areas that reflect the excellence of our students here in Carmel, our staff, and also our community. And so we're going to start with Carmel Clay Schools continues to be recognized as a national leader in public education in the newly released 2026 niche rankings. And while no single ranking defines who we are, this recognition does reflect the collective commitment of our students, our families, our community, and our staff as well. And if you don't know what the niche rankings are, they come out every year, but they often use them when people are searching for homes, and they go and see where their home is located and then what school correlates with that they would attend with their home. And so they have the ratings, and they have grades for each school, and so on and so forth. And so we are very proud to share that Carmel Clay Schools is a top 100 school district in the nation. We were 66 out of more than 10,000 school districts nationwide, and we're up from 84 from last year. We're positioned in the top 1% of all school districts in the United States. We were ranked the #1 public school district in Hamilton County in the Indianapolis area, and ranked the #2 public school district right here in the state of Indiana. Additionally, all 15 of our schools were rated as an A or an A+. That's the first time that has happened. All 3 of our middle schools are in the top 10 of all public schools in the state of Indiana, and 6, over half of our elementary schools, are also ranked in the top 10 of public schools here in Indiana. And what I'm really proud of as we continue, and as Dr. Herrera and Dr. Dudley continue to work and attract great teachers to Carmel Clay Schools, as we've continually done, we were named the best place to teach in Hamilton County, and I was very proud of that recognition as well. Let's talk about Carmel High School. So Carmel High School, the #1 public high school in the area, it was ranked 259 out of over 20,000. So that's in the top 1.2 or 3% of all high schools in the nation. and also ranked number 6 best high school in Indiana for STEM. And you heard a lot about STEM here this evening, including both public and private schools as well. So this recognition and these recognitions are a testament to our shared vision and the intentional work that you also heard from Dr. Dudley tonight that's happening in every classroom across Carmel Clay schools, and we're very proud of that. I would also like to recognize outstanding accomplishments from Creekside Middle School under the leadership of teacher Barbara Glenesk. 11 Creekside robotics teams competed in the Indiana State Robotics Competition at the middle school level with the VEX IQ competition. And so their performance was nothing but remarkable. And so out of 100 teams that made state across Indiana, eight Creekside teams made it to finals. 4 Creekside teams will be advancing to the World Robotics Championships, and more than a quarter of the Indiana teams advancing to Worlds are from Creekside. Additionally, we also had robotics teams it's an honor to qualify for state. Only 100 teams qualify across the state of Indiana, and Clay Middle School had multiple teams. Carmel Middle School was represented, and also Woodbrook was in there as part of our elementary schools at the state competition, which was held at Lucas Oil Stadium. So quite the environment, quite the setting for our state robotics championships here in Indiana. And these achievements certainly reflect not only technical skill, but also collaboration, creativity, and perseverance. I feel like I'm reiterating Dr. Dudley's presentation, and that was not planned at all. But we are truly grateful to our families, our students, our staff who serve as coaches, advisors. We have community members that come in and work with our students who make all of these opportunities possible. So very proud of all of our robotics students across the district. And then our bell ringer for tonight, Mrs. Cashin was there with me. Mr. Carmel on Friday night. And if you haven't been to Mr. Carmel, you have to get there. And so what Mr. Carmel is, it's a long-standing tradition at Carmel High School that brings together student leadership, school spirit, and service in truly a meaningful way. And so this event features senior students competing in a fun pageant-style competition that includes talent performances and also fundraising. This is organized through our CHS Champions Together program, which supports students with intellectual disabilities, and with faculty sponsor, Ms. Erin Modestet, Coach Mod, I have to give her a shout out. Mr. Carmel raises both funds and awareness for Special Olympics Indiana and also our Carmel High School unified activities and sports, while also supporting inclusive opportunities for our students at Carmel High School. So this year, Mr. Carmel at Carmel High School raised nearly $20,000 for Special Olympics Indiana and for our unified activities at Carmel High School. And also, congratulations to this year's 2026 Mr. Carmel, Spencer Sells. So Spencer, very charismatic young man, a senior at Carmel High School. His performance was unforgettable, so it was fantastic. And what I love about the performances and the talent shows is they have escorts, which are students with disabilities, and they escort the Mr. Carmel contestants, and they incorporate the escorts into their talent performances, and it's phenomenal. You have to go see it next year. Please come out for Mr. Carmel. And so beyond the entertainment, Mr. Carmel reflects who we really are as a district. It highlights belonging, leadership, and a commitment to serving others. And I'm incredibly proud of our students for the way that they led with both heart and purpose. And it was phenomenal. So in closing, moments like these remind us of all the incredible work happening in Carmel Clay schools each and every day. And so from academic excellence to student leadership to innovation and teamwork, our students and staff continue to make us proud. So thank you for your continued support of our schools and our district. And that concludes tonight's report.
Thank you very much. I just have a couple of announcements. On this upcoming Monday, March 30th, we will have a school board special session here at the Educational Service Center starting at 6 p.m. And then well, in only a week and a half, we have spring break from April 6th through 10th. Then our regular school board session on April 15th. So that is a Wednesday again. This one will not be held here, but it will be held as we do yearly at Clay Middle School because it's in combination with a celebration for teachers and staff. April 29th is our school board workshop session, and then May 13th is our school board regular session. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.